Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. Redmissed in the house once again. How you doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I'm doing great. And we, my friends, are playing some F1 Manager. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to show you the best strategy to winning pretty much every race that I have found. Now, the biggest thing with people that I've been finding is, oh, well, I have really good overtaking, but they're not doing anything. Ignore the stat. Overtaking literally means nothing in this game. The only thing that overtaking is good for is literally the first 3 corners of every single race. After that, it is a completely useless stat. Defense is obviously quite nice. Consistency is one of your most important stats that you can have in this game. Fuel management and tire management. These 3 are your most important stats. So in my opinion, Daniel Kvyat and also Antonio, 2 of your best drivers that you can have from the very beginning of the game. Antonio you're going to get in Season 2 or Series 2, and Kvyat you're going to get in Series 3. These 2 guys are super strong. If you have them, level them up. Get them to level 6 as quick as you can, because at level 6, Kvyat is going to have 70 water ability and Antonio is going to have 43 water ability, which is going to be two of the best, if not the best, that you can have for Series 3 at that time. I believe the only guy is Albon. Albon, I believe, when he's leveled up a little bit more, he will have better water ability or wet weather ability than Antonio does. But everything else about him sucks. So don't even bother using him. I've only got them leveled up to level 3 and 4 because that's what I needed so that I could get to like level 3 to Series 3 in order to unlock Kvyat. Obviously, Hamilton, Vettel, Roman Grosjean, Bottas, Perez and Norris are probably your best drivers. In my opinion, those drivers are the best that you can be using. So you want Antonio, Kvyat, Norris, Bottas, Perez, Vettel, Hamilton and Grosjean. They're the best guys to be using. If you're using anyone else, just stop leveling them up because you're wasting your gold and they're not good enough. So yeah. In terms of car, this is literally the best pieces that you're going to be wanting to be using. Everything else is completely useless until a couple of places, which I'm going to show you. Now, when you get to Series 6, you're going to switch out to this piece here because it's just the best piece to use. Shredder you're going to be keeping until you can get the star, because again it's the best piece you can be using, but you're going to be using the Shredder until then. So if you're not using those 2 pieces, switch your pieces over immediately. Now, wind tunnel, I got super lucky and I got the wind tunnel in my shop for 80 B-bucks, so I went and bought it. If you don't have it, then you're going to be using the Jetstream, or you're going to be using the Dream Stream. Now, literally, the Dream Stream is just a better version of the Jetstream, and then the Wind Tunnel is just a better version of the Dream Stream / the Wind Tunnel is literally what you're going to be rocking until the end of days. So, yeah. Put that on your car. Now, this piece right here, literally you're going to be using this at the very beginning of the game as soon as you unlock it, which is in Series 2. So literally within an hour of you playing the game, you'll probably unlock this piece. You're going to be using that for the rest of your life until you get the limpet in Series 6, which is just a better version of it. So yeah, that's what you're going to be doing. This is what you're going to be using until you go ahead and you get this piece, which is just again a better version and probably the best piece of the suspension you're going to have, so you'll be using that. And for your engine, this is kind of a hit or miss. I find the Zen is a very, very powerful piece. A lot of people kind of prefer the freewheeler, but I find that the freewheeler doesn't really become very powerful until you have it at like the higher levels of the level system. So when you're kind of getting to like level 7, 8, 9, 10, that's when this piece kind of becomes stronger than what the Zen is. So in my opinion, the Zen you get in Series 2, I believe. Yeah, you get in Series 2. So in my opinion, if you can make the Zen a level 3, you want to go ahead and level this bad boy up. From 3 to 4, you only get a little bit more grip. So level 3, you're going to be rocking like 25 power and 11 aerodynamics, which is huge. So put this bad boy on your car. You're not going to regret it. So this is pretty much what you're going to be using. Just put it on your car. You're not going to regret it. Up to Series 5, this is probably what I would term as the most, what's the word that I'm looking for right now? Like the most useful, or the most bang for your buck, up to Series 5. And it's only once you kind of start getting into like China and Singapore in Season 7 when you're kind of want to build up a little bit more grip, and obviously Monaco, you're really going to want to build up your grip. So until Season 6, you don't really need grip. You just need to focus on power and aerodynamics. If you can get a little bit of speed, if you can get a little bit of reliability, a little bit of grip along the way, fantastic. But your main thing is power, so that your car can have a better top speed, aerodynamics, so your car can take fast corners better, and pit time. Like, this is the biggest thing that a lot of people mess up on, and that's pit time. You wouldn't really believe, you wouldn't really believe how much difference having a pit time of 525 is over having a pit time of like 582 out of the blue. Having like that extra like 100th or 400ths of a second could literally be the difference between you going into a pit in 10th place and coming out in 19th to you going into the pit in 10th place and you coming out in 14th. That's really how crazy it is. Like 100th of a second could be the difference between 1 position and 5 positions. So bear that in mind. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is farming money from races really isn't the big goal here. Like, a lot of people, I see people making this mistake of, I'm in Series 4, so I'm going to race in Series 4. But my car isn't good enough. My car is like a mid-tier car for Season 4. For Series 4, sorry. So I'm kind of like mid-tier to back-tier, or mid-grid to the back-grid. That's not really what I want. So instead, your best thing that you can do is farm the race crates. 100 points for a race crate. Now, I'm going to show you the number 1 ability, and this is why, or should I say, this ability is why you want to focus on drivers. Now, this is really, really important. Focus on drivers that have good fuel management and good tire management, and this is why these two guys are your best that you can have. Now, if you have Norris leveled up, Norris is a better version for Antonio because his consistency is better. As he gets leveled up, his fuel management becomes even better, and his tire management becomes a little bit lower. Antonio actually has the best tyre management in the game. So this guy actually has 100% tyre management when he's like fully leveled up. He has the best tyre management in the game. But Norris has like one of the best overall strategies. Now his consistency's like 75 or 80, his fuel management's in the 80s, and his tyre management's also is actually 90. So these three stats are your most important. Now you can see that his overtaking and his defending is really low, but they're useless stats. You do not need them, and I'm going to show you why. Now if I go ahead and do what I normally do, I'm going to switch down into Series 2 because my car is so good in this section. And with my drivers, this strategy is literally going to win you like every single race, or like a good 95% of your races once your car is kind of leveled up to pretty much the same standards as me. The only time you're really going to struggle is if you face somebody that is kind of doing the same thing, or just farming some boxes like you are. So I see a lot of people on Reddit and YouTube asking what consistency means. Consistency is usually what you've just watched there. So the qualifying lap, usually the better consistency you have, the better your qualifying lap is going to be. So you can see Kvyat has better qualifying than Antonio, or better consistency, so he qualified in a higher position. Now that's not always going to be the case because sometimes people have a bad lap, but you're going to see here, we're going to start on soft tyres. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit aggressive. Now this track is a little bit of a faster track, so it is a 2 pit stop track. So you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to pit on the 4th lap into the 5th lap, and then on the 6th lap into the 7th lap. So you can see here, we haven't really increased too much. We managed to get 2 places with Kvyat, and now the first corners are done. Overtaking stat is now finished. You do not have the overtaking stat anymore in this game, because the first few corners are done. That's all you use it for. That's why overtaking is literally a useless stat, because now you're going to go ahead and you're going to coast. Don't worry about what your teammate's doing. Don't worry about the position you're in. The reason why you want to go all out or be aggressive at the beginning of the race is because if you can get that odd, or get that lucky position increase on your guys, then fantastic, because they're going to lose them again in the next 3 laps. So you can see here, by coasting around, this is where the biggest thing comes in with these guys with good tyre management and good fuel management, is by coasting around, we're going to get those extra laps off of the tyres. So you can see here, if I was racing normally, I would only get 3 laps, but we're going to get 5 laps out of these tyres because we're coasting. Now, the opponent has actually done really bad and he's pitted both of his guys at the same time, so that gives us a huge advantage. We're just going to continue to go around. Now, he was on soft tyres as well. He is actually pitting on, or he's pitted onto hard tyres, so he is a little bit smarter, but if he'd done soft tyres, he would have had to pit 3 times. So he might only have to pit twice because he did switch onto those soft tyres. But this is where, now we're on lap 3, this is where we need to start paying more attention to what we're really racing, and we're really racing our second guy. So for me, my pit time is 5 seconds 25 hundredths of a second, so 5.2 seconds. We need basically a 5.5 second gap. Now you can see my opponent is going hard on his tyres. That's not a problem for me. We want that to be happening. So we don't have that gap, so I'm going to have to speed my guy up in order to make sure that I can get that sort of 5.3, 5.4 second gap. Now we've got that. Normally that works out about 2 corners. Now we've got that here. Also, a big tip, when you go into the pit lane, put the turbo on, because it does make you drive through the pits just that little bit quicker. You can see right now my pit time was perfect. I went through in that sort of 5.5 second pit time, which meant that I'm able to do a double pit stop without hindering my second guy. With the tyre management and the fuel management of my two guys on level 6, I can now go turbo and not worry, or aggressive and not worry about anything. The only thing you need to worry about, like, this is literally where overtaking literally is a dead stat now, because you're driving aggressive, which means you drive faster than the other people. You just drive right past them. You can see we've done one lap. We were on lap 6, so we're going to be going into the pits again, and same with Antonio. You just kind of need to make sure that you're keeping that sort of 5 seconds over your second driver, to make sure that obviously when we pit again right now on lap 6, we're not gonna hold Antonio up. This does usually mean, because you're keeping Antonio like 5 seconds behind, this does usually mean that Antonio's going to be roughly anywhere between 3 to 7 grid places behind your first driver. But not always. Sometimes the pack gets grouped up a little bit, and you kind of like get that money, or that position back. Now, you can see here that Corvette is also starting to get a bit low on fuel, but that's not a problem, because we have good fuel management, we have good tyre management. We can literally just go all out for like 3.5 laps. Now, this is the trick where you kind of pick up the points. When you get to like this section here, which is a slower section of the map, just go on to conservative, because this is going to bring his fuel back up, because when you conserve, you don't use as much fuel. So we're going to conserve until we get around this corner here, and now we're going to go hit the turbo again. And that should basically see him around the track. And the only reason we did that is because we had to speed him up on lap 4 so that he had that 5-second gap. So just remember that. You don't have to do that. You can literally just slow him down, and he'll be perfectly fine. Like, switch him off of turbo into a second place. But you can see here that he finished in 5th, and Antonio finished in 7th. Like I said, anywhere between sort of 5 to 7 grid places, because he's 5 seconds back. But that's 41 points. So that is huge. And this literally works in every single place you're going. The only difference is you need to make sure that you have a strong enough car to race in that area. And as you can see as well, by doing 41 points, that means that this crate is literally going to be like a 3-race crate. And you'll find that that is usually the case more often than not. You'll race 3 races and you'll get that crate. And for me right now, that's like 16,000 gold. But I'm going to show you in Season 4 as well, just so that you can see that I'm not doing anything different. I'm literally doing the same things. Now, this guy's got a little bit less flags than me, so it might be an easy race, it might not. But I do need to level my car up a little bit more, because like I say, I'm kind of like a mid-tier to an like a low tier car in this area. So I am starting to sort of find people that are able to beat me, because my car just isn't strong enough yet to really be racing here. But you can see, again, my opponent's starting on the soft tyres. We're going to start on the hard tyres so that we can get that initial turbo at the start and then still be fairly safe at the beginning. So hopefully we can get a couple of positions, because this guy does have a much stronger car than me. So you can see we managed to increase up to 16th, and this guy qualified in, what was it, like 23rd or 24th, and he's in 20th, so that's great. So that's the overtaking side of the race done. So now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to slow this down. He's dropped down into 22nd. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slow this race down. We're going to go back into conservative. The overtaking stat now is completely useless. If you do have a driver that's got good defending, so obviously Kvyat does have better defending capabilities than Antonio, so he will keep cars behind him a little bit. So the defensive stat is a nice stat to have, so people like Sebastian Vettel are really strong to have when you're coasting around the track like this. But literally, you're just going to kind of like, look, this guy's dropped down into 24th, so this is kind of where me having not a strong enough car to really race in this area. When I do play against somebody that does have a car that's sort of strong enough in this area, it becomes a little bit problematic, but hey, that's to be expected. As you level up your stuff, you're going to become more powerful and you're going to be able to race in the next zone a little bit better. But this is why I showed you the first area first, because by farming zone series 2, you could see that I was like literally like top 7 with both cars. That was like, what was that, 41 points? That's 3 races for a race crate, and I can farm the pieces that I need in order to get the car leveled up a lot quicker. So you can see I'm literally doing the same thing. If we go into the diagnostics here, you can see that he's gone into the pits right now. He's pitted once, we haven't pitted, and he's in 12th. I'm in 13th. His second guy is probably going into the pits and we've overtaken him. So again, we still haven't pitted and we're just going to be sitting here nice. We are on lap 4 now, so we need to make sure that we are that 5-second gap in front, which we are. We're going to go ahead and we're going to select those soft tyres. And this is where the biggest part is, because as I said to you before, as we go into the pit, we are going to switch into the aggressive driving style, because in the pits you slow down a lot, but the aggressive driving style helps you go that little bit quicker. So we're going to keep this guy on conservative because we don't want to make it so that he crashes. Now the other guy is out of the pits, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on. Now, this is where we make the ground on the opponent, because we're literally always racing our second driver. We're never racing the opponent. We don't really care what the opponent's doing. The only thing that we care about with the opponent is, did he start the race on soft tyres? If yes, that's a win for us. Is he playing aggressively or trying to keep high in the ranks? If yes, that's a win for us. And now we just need to play catch up. So as you can see, we're going to completely ignore Antonio. We're just going to let him do his thing because we're more interested in Kvyat. He's on lap 6 now, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the pit. Once Antonio's comfortably on level 6, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put him into the pit, and you can see we're just going to continue to go around. Now, having good fuel management and having good tyre management is where this is going to be the key, because you want to be able to turbo around the track for the 4 laps. So you can see we coasted for 4 laps / into the 5th, and now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to gun it. Having the pit stop is obviously also a good thing because we're going to make time on our opponents there. Like you can see, we both pitted at the same time, and look at the difference. Like, he's got a much better car, but we're able to still stay on his tail / overtake him because of the fact that we played smart and conserved our fuel. Whereas he hasn't got the fuel to really keep his position in these later stages of the race anymore. So now we're going to be able to just sort of continue to increase our lead. We might need to slow down, so that's something that you'll have to pay attention to. But usually you don't have to. As your fuel management gets even better, you'll find that you have to slow down throughout the race less and less. And you can see we're up into 5th place with a car that we really shouldn't be racing in that position with. And we're on lap 8 right now. So as you can see, he's been told that he needs to slow down. He's more than easy in the lap finish there, or the finish line, so he doesn't need to slow down. He's just broke his car, but who cares? He's not going to be pitting anymore. And then we just continue to race. Again, doesn't need to slow down because he's literally at the finish line. And if you look at my opponent, with a better car than me, he's finished like, look at that, 6 laps back on the guy that was literally leading the race for a long time. So this is the difference. Now, I've kind of got a good score here for my car. I don't usually finish in like 6th place. I usually finish around about like 9 and 14. So that was actually a good race for me, but you can see it was the exact same strategy. Just conserve your tyres, conserve your fuel, because at the end, when you're turboing around the track for 4 laps, you're going to overtake everyone, and you don't need that overtaking ability. So this is where obviously Norris also comes in, because his overtaking ability is even lower than both of them, but his consistency is better, so he will qualify in a higher position on the grid. Excuse me, as he gets leveled up, his fuel management and his tyre management is better than Daniel Kvyat, but his tyre management is a little bit lower than Antonio, but his consistency and his fuel management is better, so he becomes a really, really good person to have, because you can just turbo all day long and never worry about a single thing. So bear that in mind, farm these crates, because you can do them in like 3 races, and you will be able to get the stuff to be able to level your car up really quickly, get your car good enough to then be able to move up into the next kind of areas. Now, I haven't done it today. I've just kind of farmed a couple of Series 2 crates, but usually as I unlock 1 crate, I will then go to like Series 4, get a Series 4 crate, and then I'll go back to farming the Series 2 in order to farm out these race crates as quick as I can. And you can see, just by doing that, I'm currently sitting on like 500,000 gold, with only a wind tunnel to upgrade, which is 560,000, but at the same time, if you look at the wind tunnel is a Series 6 piece of equipment, whereas if I go into my race, I haven't even unlocked Series 6. It was only because of the fact that that piece was in the shop that I bought it. I bought enough stuff to be able to upgrade it, because I wasn't sure if it would gain more speed or not. As it happened, it was only going to gain 1 grip, so I'm not in any rush to level it up. But yeah, bear that in mind, guys. Make sure that consistency, tyre management and fuel management is your #1 priority for stats if you're going to use this race strategy, and I guarantee you will have so much more success in winning races and farming out them higher amounts of points, so that you can make your car way better than it should be for the areas that you're racing in. So hope that helps you guys. Peace on the streets.